Good morning everyone, I'm Federici and today we are going to show you the latest news about coronavirus in Europe. Let's start with the headlines. The statistics in Europe and the most infected countries in our continent. How the EU is working together with the member states to contain the spread of the virus. The economy of the EU in the time of the coronavirus. Where there is still the lockdown and in which places there are heavy changes. Interview to an Italian student to understand how the situation has improved and how these hard days are going in Italy. Funny action against coronavirus and currently viral on social networks. Let's begin with the first report of the day and give the line to Frusconi, who will show us the statistic of coronavirus cases in Europe, with a particular focus on the most affected countries.
Thanks Federici. In Europe, both the curve of infected and the one of deaths started very low and remain as that until the second half of this February. Then both curves started growing at a really worrying pace, and even after all the countries locked down, it continued going up until the beginning of April. At this point, the curve in Europe were almost twice as high as the rest of the countries of the world. Luckily, after almost a month of lockdown, the curve of cases became what resembles a straight line, while the curve of deaths, even if slightly, started decreasing. Now that the emergency seems to be almost at its end, we can say which were the European countries that were most hit by the virus. If we wanted to draw a map of them, it will look like this. While if we wanted more precise numbers and data, they will be these. At the modern day, the general numbers for Europe are these, and we hope that the second number will decrease soon, while the last one will grow instead.
Now let's continue about the EU and how it's dealing with the particular situation.
European Union is trying by all possible means to avoid a climate of tension in the hope of a slow return to normal. In particular, EU and its member states are working together shoulder to shoulder to strengthen and improve national health systems to prevent and contain the spread of the virus. But EU's most important or magnificent targets for fighting COVID-19 are three: limit the spread of the virus, ensure the supply of medical equipment, and support economy, business and employment.
But despite everything, Europe's economy does not seem to be on the best on this period. Let's take a look at the concrete data and percentage.
Thanks for the presentation. We all had difficult moments because coronavirus has changed the lives and habits of many people. For a few months we were in lockdown and nobody couldn't go shopping. All activities have been closed and this has had a negative impact on the economy. We had to stay at home, we have to maintain distance and we have to wear closed face coverings. The coronavirus epidemic is a big shock to the European and global economies. The pandemic is testing the concept of European solidarity. The Eurogroup, which includes the 19 ministers of all Eurozone countries, has agreed on €540 billion to help affected economies. Member states have already adopted policy measures to increase the capacity of their health system. The European Investment Bank will provide billions to support small businesses. Wealthier states like Germany and the Netherlands disagree to help all states in difficulty and believe that every member state of the European Union is responsible for its finances. Other countries think that it is important to have a common fund to deal with the crisis and help the recovery, but it does so only by issuing bonds. The damage caused by the epidemic is estimated at more than €2 trillion. Without solidarity, there can be the credibility of the European project. It will be severely damaged. International travel was a decline of up 30% this year, while tourism could be hit with a slump between 45% and 70% in its economy. Closed borders, travel restrictions and the closure of bars and restaurants will be more felt across in the southern countries, where tourism is fundamental for the economy.
This is probably due two different countries managed to health emergency. Some are still in lockdown, and many are already starting to reopen. But Frigeri will tell us more about this.
Yes, thanks for the presentation. Today I'm going to talk about the lockdown situation in Italy, Spain, and France. Let's start. Italy issued a nationwide lockdown on March 9th. Schools, universities, and all non-essential business were closed, with supermarkets, banks, pharmacies, and post offices allowed to remain open. Travel within Italy was banned except for health reasons or urgent matters. Starting on April 14th, the Italian government started relaxing restrictions. The Spanish government declared a state of emergency on March 14th. Non-essential shops and schools have been ordered to shut, as well as hotel and tourist accommodation. Spain also closed its external borders with its European neighbours. Starting on April 30th, workers were allowed to return to work, although other restrictions were extended until April 27th. The French government announced a strict nationwide lockdown on March 17th, banning all public gatherings and telling residents to stay inside. People in France are also required to fill out a form stating their reasons for leaving the house. Outdoor exercise is only permitted once a day and must be done alone and not exceed 1 hour. The measures were extended on May 11th.
And now let's talk with an Italian student, and let's ask him some questions to better understand how the situation is in Italy. Hey Walid, is everything alright there?
Not really good. Since the virus has spread, the situation has worsened, the number of infected has grown dramatically, and the structures can't hold up. The blockade of circulation has also infected us students.
How do you feel about distance learning? Is it better than school?
I think distance learning is the only solution to be able to continue studies without risk. It will never be like studying in class with the teacher who explains. However, there are advantages such as those who have to wake up really every day to take the bus will no longer have to do it. However, it also creates many uncomfortable solutions, such as line problems that interrupt the lesson continuously. I believe that if everyone had the means and everything worked as it should, it would also be valid as a solution.
How the situation has changed with phase 2?
Phase 2 will be a test for us to see how we will manage the situation and how it will develop, and if everything works, I think that soon everything we will return to normal and we'll take a bit of freedom after 2 months locked in our houses.
Here we are at the final report. You will be surprised by the content that our Priya will present us.
Thanks for this unusual presentation, but after all, what I'm going to show to our viewers, it's incredible too. Well, let's start with the image published on Instagram that immediately went viral on social networks in Italy. Let's take a look at this abandoned cart. You will ask yourself why. The answer is that an old man tried to run away with the grocery pretending to have coronavirus. Fortunately, however, he was taken. Something similar happened in Spain, where a man, tired of remaining in quarantine, decided to go out dressed as a T-Rex. But the local police immediately caught him. It was only worth it to earn 5 million views on Twitter. Another weird thing happened in the UK, where after the marriage broke due to the COVID, they organized it on Animal Crossing. This shows us how the UK has digitized too quickly, so much so that now in some cities mini robots have been made available for the delivery of food at home. Instead, in Hungary, easy-to-wear bracelets have been designed to signal if a person is violating the rules of social distancing. In the last period, this invention is becoming very useful, especially for workers.
Time's up. Thanks for your attention and a big thanks to our reporters.